another. I don't. This isn't even really a test anymore. This is working. Worked great yesterday. We had a few guests on, so Matt will be retweeting and posting. So I'm sure y'all are gonna see his tweet or have already saw it and you've joined us. If not, we'll just be talking about certain topics today. Some things that are happening in the news, some things that relate to some of the episodes that we talked about last year with DNA. So a lot of topics at hand today. But Matt, I did have pizza last night. I know yesterday we were talking about dinner and everything, and I had pizza and it was so good.
The pizza around our area is pretty kind of just terrible. And I'm basically learning how to use my phone again because I logged into our ComaCast Twitter and I'm like, man, this isn't working. I'm like, oh god. that's what the confused look was. So I pretty much keep it simple for our local pizza places to like just plain cheese pizza or one or two toppings. And
I got what do they call it? I forgot even what they call it, but basically it's a lot of meat. So it's like bacon, it's like sausage, it's red bell peppers, onions, and then just a lot of meat. Just a lot of meat. It's like an incredibly pizza full of meat. Um, and but there's a lot of good
Friday,
pizza.
everyone.
There's a lot of there's a lot of good pizza places around here that are more, I guess, gourmet. So setting aside your Pizza Hut, Domino's, Little Caesars, and stuff. There's one thing about San Diego. There's like a lot of little communities, neighborhoods, and they're all different. Each neighborhood is very like distinct in what it offers, and so it's like really nice to just go like walk the neighborhoods. And then this one area has this delicious pizza place, and it's like people that run it, they came over from like Italy, I believe, and they brought a pizza oven and everything, and it's so cute, and the food is so good.
Local places are just always so much better. And we're on YouTube as ComaCast, right? Just ComaCast, one word.
I believe so. I don't know. I don't think it has
Yeah,
a
because I was going to
username, but
mention, you can watch on YouTube, and
yeah.
it's, the quality is really good there.
We'll send out a link. I'll send you a link. Yeah, there's a lot of great
Here, I'll
places.
tweet it. I'm going to retweet it from my main account and just comment. And I'll post that you're going to post it.
Yeah. There's a lot of great places around here. Like Southern California in general, and like San Diego is like so like perfect for like different foodies, I guess, basically. And so there's always something different, something always opening new. There's a lot of chefs who've been like on Top Chef and different things like that, and they live in San Diego, and so they'll open up restaurants, and some of them have 2 or 3 restaurants. There's this one of the chefs that was on Top Chef. He opened up a chicken place, and it has basically like chicken sandwiches, chicken fingers, fries, and onion rings. And I think that's basically it. That it's just very limited to what it is, but it is so good. And it's like one of my favorite places to go to. The problem is a lot of these areas in the neighborhoods, they don't have a lot of parking. So a lot of time it's difficult to go somewhere and then find a spot and then be able to eat where you want to eat. But he has now like kind of like, I guess, franchised this chicken place, and there's like 2 or 3 other locations all in Southern California. But yeah, food out here is so good. I know I mentioned it yesterday, but I'm excited. Tonight is burrito night, so I get my California burrito. Can't wait.
We have the food here is. So we lived in Austin when we first moved to Texas in 2016. We lived there from January to December of 16, and the food in Austin is just amazing. It was just completely great. Since I moved to Texas, I've gained like I think 50 pounds, which is good. I needed to, but I've not managed it in any of the other 3 states I lived in, but Texas, between the barbecue and then Austin had just everything you can imagine, and all in walking distance. And
barbecue. Like there is like one place out here that's like really really good barbecue, and I've only been to it a handful of times, but basically it's so good. Like there's a line. I mean everything out here has lines, but there's like a
yeah,
line to get
I've
in,
heard.
and you have to wait like 30 or 45 minutes to get in, sometimes even longer. And it's a big place too. Like it's a huge place, so there's lots of place to sit. It's just that so many people go, and it is so good. And they actually have a location that they opened up at the baseball stadium, and so it's always fun to go watch a baseball game and get some barbecue. But that's the thing.
It's weird to picture you going to watch a baseball game.
It's fun. I love the stadium here. It's like so nice because it
It's
kind
like
of
my
opens
nightmare.
up. I'll see if I can pull up a photo in a second. It basically, like you go to a football game or baseball game, and it's the normal like stadium food.
Mm-hmm.
But here, you know, they have that stuff. They have the pretzels, hot dogs, burgers, etc. But they also have a lot of these like restaurants in San Diego that are really popular. They have like small like locations that open up during the baseball games, and so they serve all this food from these great gourmet places in San Diego. So like when you go to the baseball games here, you get some pretty delicious food. Let's see. I'm gonna open up this photo in a second. But yeah,
Oh, did you
they,
post the link, the YouTube link below on my comment?
yeah, I'm going to in just a sec.
Okay.
They the one thing I love. So it's called Petco Park, and so it is sponsored by Petco. If you didn't gather that, but they have a section where dogs can hang out. A whole section, and it's fun to go if you have a dog because it's a little bit cheaper in price, but you can hang out with your dog, and there's other cute dogs there, and then watch a baseball game, and it's just like amazing. I'm
Hey.
gonna pull it up here. So this is what our stadium looks like.
Oh, Jay has joined us.
So that's the stadium, and so like it like opens up to downtown.
Hi, Jay. He's watching us.
Oh yay! We haven't hung out in some time
Y'all
since
know each
this.
other in person?
Yes,
Oh,
I mean
I'm
this
so
whole
jealous.
COVID thing. Can't even go out.
I mean, I knew y'all were in the same area. I just did, it's a big city, so I never assume everybody knows each other.
Everybody knows everybody, Matt. Come on.
Well, I live in a pretty big city too, and people will be like, "Do you know this person?" I'm like, no. Like locals and I have not made friends really.
I mean, I guess what is it? It's almost the point in time that I haven't really been out at all in public. I mean, we've done like quick errands
Decades.
to decades. It really has been. I remember. I think I was telling Matt. Like, I feel like it was around this time last year. I started like gathering like a lot of food and preparing for what I thought was going to be a long thing, and it turned out to be.
I know exactly which conversation that was, and it was probably about this time. Oh no, it was probably a little bit from here, and there was like no talking to you about it, like none. I've been virtually in his house. In fact, I'm virtually at his house right now.
You are. Yeah,
I
I know.
am jealous.
I'm ready to be able to like go out.
Oh, Johnny's here. Oh man.
Go out again and like hang out. Because there's a lot of people in San Diego that we hang out with, but then we haven't got to because you're not supposed to. There are
Yeah,
people
and
who do, but as we've talked about on the podcast, don't stay home. You're not supposed to be hanging out with like tons of people. I don't
right.
understand.
Yeah, I understand that. So, There's like, wow, there's people here. Hooray. Oh god. I did actually watch I replayed the live stream last night, and it was weird to watch myself and watch us interact. And it kind of went like the podcast without some of the swearing when we have a tech issue.
Well, it's going so smoothly. I mean, you're talking about tech. Jay has all the tech.
Yeah, I've seen like whenever he posts something and he's like, "Oh, hey, got some new toy." But Jay hasn't seen the fun side of the podcast when especially the first 6 months, when everything just every time we would go to record, even if the podcast was a 20-30 minute recording that day, it was easily an hour and a half to 2 hours of testing and oh crap, that didn't. Or what was one we did where we had to redo it completely? The Marsha P. Johnson one we had to do 3 times. One or two for audio, and once at least because we're like, wow, we played it back and we're like, oh, I don't like that at all.
Well,
So
we finally got you a mic, because early on you didn't have a mic.
Right. And also, well, this computer I listened to myself yesterday and it was fine, but I'm also in a quiet room. But on the Pro, my old computer, no, did not work. Not for crap.
I know, your old computer. Rest in
Yeah, and I was
peace.
sad because I love that computer, but it wasn't
Well,
having any
I
of this.
mean, these new computers though are like way faster and way better than the Pro.
Yeah, I'm
So
on an Air now, and it's working great. Like I said, I played it back to myself last night, and I thought it sounded pretty good. Of course, I realized when I'm watching it, I can see the chat, but on the playback through YouTube, excuse me, all I see is like you and I talking. So I realized what I was acknowledging. I was reading something off a screen, but people can't see what I'm reading. So, so that means when I come out to California, I have to hang out with Jay and Eli too, because, well, I'm dying to, because I talk to them as well. But obviously, I mean, I don't matter because y'all apparently know each other better. So, like, that's cool.
I mean, yeah, you need to come out. But again, this pandemic prevented it.
Yeah. So there were some actual things we planned to talk about today. So I think we're going to do is probably a couple live streams per week, where at least one of them, it's just kind of us catching up, because this actually works out because Cody and I don't get to catch up as much lately. We've been super busy, and then I was sick for a week and a half, not COVID related, just.
Well, I know a second ago though, I got worried because Matt was like smelling his coffee cup, and then he was telling me about all these times he couldn't smell things recently.
Right, that's true. So because of my cleft palate, I was born with a pretty limited sense of smell because everything was all blocked up and everything. And then, so anytime I get a cold or a sinus issue, it's a lot more intense than it would be if I didn't have a cleft lip and palate. So sometimes my sense of smell just disappears, and I won't notice it for a day or two because I'm so used to not having it. So then it'll come roaring back. I'm like, oh, well, shit. But yeah, the other night I couldn't smell I was eating Fig Newtons and they didn't taste like anything, but I could smell them. And the same thing, but I think I burned my tongue earlier that night eating soup. So that was probably why.
Oh my God, Matt.
Well, I didn't think I burned it that bad. Like I really didn't. It didn't hurt, but the next day it started coming back. So I was like, oh, I guess I did. I mean,
it's not good.
Well, I mean, I take care of myself, and I've been, we don't go anywhere, and we don't have friends, so that solves a lot of it. Yeah, Johnny Paul was like, the favorite game is a cold or COVID. So I was sick last January for like 6 weeks. We even missed some of the podcasting last year because I was sick. I was so freaking sick, and we didn't know what was wrong with me. And I thought I had a cold. And now that I think back on it, I think I might have actually had COVID because I thought it was a sinus problem, but I had all like the pain and discomfort of sinus problems without the congestion. But my chest hurt. I remember my chest hurting and being tight and sore, and like everything else just feeling, and I felt just bad. And I didn't even think about it. And then, a month or two later, the pandemic hit. I'm like, oh, well, all right, maybe
Well, I
Oops.
remember early on, like when it first started happening, it was that because also like it's happening like when there's tons of allergens around here, and then I had the peach tree, and so there was like lots of flower and blossom and pollen, and that's when I was pulling all the peaches down, and so there's 100 peaches, and I'm in the middle of the tree, and then that's when I get really bad sinuses. But it was happening around that time, so it was again, is it sinuses? Is it allergies? Is it COVID? And then it's like taking your temperature every 5 minutes and everything. But
Yeah,
thankfully,
no,
I,
and he's
I
not
moved
kidding.
past that.
He is not kidding. It was every 5 minutes. I think I was like 2 seconds. I told David, I'm like, I'm gonna text Justin and ask him to like disable Cody's phone just secretly. And I don't know, like, please spare
No,
us.
I'm always threatened with that. He's gonna block like WebMD or something
WebMD.
because we have like a pie hole, and it it blocks all the ads. So
Oh,
like we go
gotcha.
to we go to any website or anything, and it blocks ads. So it's great because we don't see ads on anything, and but he could technically block it. But I also could just disable it because sometimes I'm trying to go to something and I can't get to it. Like it won't
Right.
open. And so I have to turn it off. But he could block it. He could block it and change the password. And
It's
then
been fine most of this year, but um, definitely the first 3 months of, I would say, what, March, April, May. It was really tough to get through a podcast because you were like stressed.
well, Chris is worried because it's allergy season. So
Well, and
yeah.
he's in Florida, so allergies there can be wild, especially around Central Florida area, which besides allergies, it's like the lightning strike capital of the world too. So, there's that. But we used to stand in Disney. So my restaurant, I worked at Tony's Town Square, and it was right at Town Square at the front of the park. So you would see things get struck by lightning. And one of my favorite games to play with a cast member who no longer works there, we would stand at the front. We had to stand there and wave as people came in because our managers apparently hate us. And we would play games as all the horrific ways we could die at Disney, like trampled by the horse while we're waving, struck by lightning, you know.
Oh my goodness. Trampled by the horse?
Yeah, the parades that go through this, they have horses that pull carriages through, and there's a parade floats, and
Oh, that's
there's
right. Those are
lots.
the older ones. Like the newer, well, I guess no, the newer ones they don't have horses. They only
No,
have those for
well, there's
special
some
events
always.
now.
Yeah, they have special events where the horses would come through. It wasn't just the parades, but
Mm.
events that we would have. And when you're at the front of Town Square in the morning for opening, you see everything if you're outside. And they made us go outside before opening of the park. Is you can walk in the park, but not everything was formally open yet. So they put us out there to greet guests and to cheer them. I'm like, you just walked into Disney. You should be cheerful. I'm the one that's dead inside.
I always loved. I would go to Magic Kingdom or whatever, and then the Wi-Fi would connect,
That
so I was
is,
home.
oh god, I never. I don't know if I've ever used Wi-Fi or anything in the parks. Like I only had my phone out to take pictures because it's so busy. It would be so busy and crazy just to keep an eye on things. So, Chris, I cannot remember if I ever took you guys to Disney. I know we all went to Disney all the time because myself and several other people in our group were friends. Disney uses drones along with fireworks now. Crazy. What the man? We got. I lived for
Yeah, I
five
went
years
to a
hearing wishes every night, which I did love. I did love hearing wishes, which was great, but I was very spoiled.
yeah, they had a drone show a few Christmases back, and I went. But yeah, they were going to start using some drones maybe in at Epcot because they're redoing the nightly show at Epcot. But I think they've decided not to do that, and they just have these like I don't know, like it's going to be like 5 or 6 huge barges. It's kind of an eyesore right now, but they say they will disappear because they will become fountains. But apparently, it's going to be a huge show.
I miss
But
Epcot because I miss drinking around the world, and not that I'm a big drinker, but it was really fun to do. If you guys get it,
I loved it.
I feel like anybody that knows me post 2011 doesn't know that I was ever like an active human being in society. Because for the most part now, I don't want to say withdrawn, but like, you know, if you get ever picture me social in a club with my shirt off, it's,
Well, I
times
can't.
pass.
can't imagine that.
You can't really?
No, no,
Wait,
I've seen.
really?
No, I could. I've
Oh.
seen photos. I don't know why you don't post more photos of that.
I don't have as many. My photo bucket got deleted, my MySpace got deleted, and then 2 or 3 years ago, I'd upgraded phones. When I went from the iPhone 6 to the 7 about 3-4 years ago, my entire backup got deleted, which was most of my photos that were on my phone and in my backup from 2007 or 2008 through would have been 2016. So just tons of pictures that people I don't know where they are anymore, and I don't know
Also,
how to the backup is still there. I just don't know how to get into it.
well, Jake could probably help you.
What? Jay?
Jake could probably help you.
That is true. I guess I could post about it and be like, hey, who wants access to all my most private information?
I mean, you post it anyway.
There's not, I don't post every, well, physically, yeah, who cares? But like, yeah, so when that actually happened, I think David like literally hid in another room for a day. Like, I was in such a foul mood. It was really bad. I was really upset and frustrated about it.
I mean, I was going to say about the photos,
Yeah.
like that's a period of time when you didn't have a phone to take photos, really, like when we were younger. So it's all on cameras.
I remember, yeah, I had uploaded everything. I had it all condensed. Some of the stuff I still have. A lot of it was updated, uploaded to Photo Bucket, which my Photo Bucket was deleted. I guess it wasn't. I didn't log into it for too long. Then I went to look at it one day and went, "Oh crap, it's gone." So I have I have a few pictures. I'm sure Chris Pettis actually has a few pictures, of us back in the day somewhere. And
I know you mentioned that yesterday. We need some of these photos, Chris.
oh, you know what? I think I have one between us. Hold on, let me pull up Chris and I's text. I might have this old picture from our super twink days. Let's see. Well, here's one. Oh, yikes! That one I don't want to share. That wasn't him. That was of me. Like I don't want. I swear he sent it to me. Oh God, blonde hair and everything. Fantastic. Let's see. Cody, I'll send you one in a second. You can just have a good laugh at me.
Okay.
I'm not shy. It's whatever. But yeah, we went out to dinner for my 22nd birthday, and I was out in Cocoa Beach, and Chris came out to my birthday, and somebody took a picture of us, and we are literally like this big around. We are just these tiny, tiny little things.
Well, you did post the picture yesterday of you and David for your
Yeah.
anniversary on your Twitter, but you posted an old photo of both of you when
Yeah,
you
so we
were
retook that
twigs.
photo a few years ago, and we had gained probably 40 pounds in between the two. And I'm wearing, they're the same brand of white shorts, just like 3 sizes bigger. So it doesn't, but because I had actually tossed, I'd either donated or threw them away because they either ripped or I donated them.
Mm-hmm.
So, because I've torn clothes in the last few years because I gained weight so fast. Let's see. Oh, here you go, Cody. I'm sending it now.
Okay.
So we can laugh. I had blonde hair and I was super tan. Oh my God, Chris. He just sent me, he just texted me a picture. I remember those sunglasses. Like I said, so if you weren't here yesterday, Chris and I have known each other since we were about 19. And, we're in our mid 30s now. So it's like, we went through the post high school twink stage and, we were outside all the time. I'm actually really tan in the picture I sent Cody, which looking at me now, it's really hard to believe. Did it come through, Cody?
Yeah, I'm going to show it.
Oh, God.
Just have to pull it up.
Oh, God.
Are you ready for everybody to see you?
Oh, yeah, I don't care. I might have even posted this picture before, but I don't remember if I have or not. That was actually taken in Cocoa Beach. I'm 19, maybe 20 at most, but
What does your shirt even say?
Friendly Beaver Trailer Park, probably from Target. I was really hoping you wouldn't point that out.
Like, so
That's
is
an.
this a candid? Is this a candid, or were you posing?
I don't think I was posing. I think my ex Nick was like, turn around and taking a picture. So I turned around because Nick is about 5'6" or 5'7", so I was probably reaching up on that shelf, about, like that I'm standing in front of, to get something off the top shelf for him. So, boy, look at that solid hairline. Whew. Man, who's that twink? So that's an extra small shirt.
Oh my God, extra small?
That's an extra
Wow.
small, and it's hanging off of me. So I don't really miss that when people tell me that, oh, I miss being 20, and I'm like, I don't.
So we were going to talk a little bit about things that are happening. So this is something that I thought was kind of interesting. So we'll have to get it back up. I've lost it. But we were going to talk about Marjorie Taylor Greene, and that she was removed from her committee assignments. The Democrats all voted to remove her, and 11 Republicans decided to join in on removing her as well. But then the rest of the Republicans were like, she's okay.
Right. They gave her a standing ovation in a closed door meeting, allegedly, that when she apologized for some of her past remarks, they gave her a standing ovation. So the bar's on the floor.
I mean, and so like that was up for vote, and so was Liz Cheney, and because she had voted for the impeachment,
Right.
and so they were going to vote, I guess, whether to remove her because she's like third in line on the House leadership.
Yes.
And
Correct.
so they were
Baggery,
maybe
yes,
remove
Johnny,
her or leave Marjorie Taylor Greene, which, okay, I guess those are choices that you're going to make as a party. Some interesting choices. They are hanging strongly onto that Trump voter base, and yeah, that's just
but they did
insane
vote.
thing.
I mean, it was a resounding vote to keep her. I think only 60 people voted to pull her position. So everybody else voted to keep Liz Cheney in place. So, and it was a secret ballot. So on a secret ballot where their names weren't noted, they clearly supported her position to vote for impeachment. So
Well,
that should tell us a lot.
and there was one person who didn't, or they voted present, I believe. Like, okay, it's what? This is you. Why are you voting present on such on a vote like this? And it's secret ballot. You don't have to do that. But here's the deal. Like, say it wasn't secret ballot and it was public. I feel that would have been way different, a way different vote, because you would have had people who maybe those 11 Republicans might not have voted to kick Marjorie Taylor Greene off the committee assignments because they were worried about their elections and their voters thinking that they're siding against her. And then I think with the Liz Cheney vote, it also might have been different because they would have been having to publicly state that they were agreeing or disagreeing with Liz Cheney. And I think that would have been a harder vote for some of those that seem to be really hardcore going on the Trump bandwagon and voting to say that the election was not legitimate, to then have to say, oh, Liz Cheney can stay publicly. I think that would have been a hard vote. I love Kevin McCarthy, though. You know, they say he's not the smartest person in DC because there's been many times when he was, I believe, House Majority Leader, and things go for a vote, and he was embarrassed because he didn't have the votes. And if you are a leader in your group, you're responsible for making sure you have the amount of votes, because you don't want to be embarrassed if you are bringing something for a vote and you think you have the votes. And so a lot of people in DC say he's not the smartest person, but as we saw, he went to see Trump in Florida at Mar-a-Lago. I don't know why, but he said that he talked with Marjorie Taylor Greene and she's sorry and she apologizes, and she did go on the House floor and say that 9/11 did happen,
Wow, very good.
And she's moving forward. She's making progress.
Did she not?
Um,
I literally watched the second plane hit. I was sitting in my
it
English
didn't
class.
happen, Matt. It didn't. She said it didn't happen, but she says it happened now. She says it happens now, and she said that I think she was talking about how it's a bad thing when there can be like partial truths and partial false news, and they're put together and it gets confusing, and she just got taken advantage of. Um,
Oh yeah, okay.
Apparently, though, she didn't denounce the fact that she thinks that there were Jewish lasers that started fires in California. That wasn't
So
brought up,
I
but
don't. Some
9/11
of
did
that stuff
happen.
I've not. I don't retweet or go in. I because I'm like, this has got to be like satire. This has got to be exaggerated.
I
And
remember. I remember when the fires were starting to happen. I did see a lot of, and there was a lot of big fires happening in California, and there was talk that they were. Some people were talking that they were started by lasers. I had not heard that they were Jewish lasers or something of the sort, but that they were
wow.
lasers. Um, but Kevin McCarthy, he spoke out, and I saw this clip last night on Stephen Colbert, so I'm going to go ahead and play it, and it's kind of funny.
McCarthy assured the assembled media that Greene expressed remorse, but he wasn't sure exactly for what.
I think it would be helpful if you could hear exactly what she told all of us, denouncing QAnon. I don't know if I say it right. I don't even know what it is.
Really? You don't know what it is? Then who said this?
Let me be very clear. There is no place for QAnon in the Republican Party. I do not support it.
So now he's trying to distance himself from himself. I can't wait for his next press conference. I emphatically denounce Kevin McCarthy.
Okay, so wait, what? First of all, he never said the name right, QAnon, but there's so many of these Republicans. They say one thing and it's on TV, and then they say something else. It's also on TV. Do you forget that you literally just said this?
No, of course not. I mean, look, hashtag Merrick Garland.
Mm-hmm.
You know, then the Amy Coney Barrett confirmation. So no, of course not. I mean, it's so as I've observed the last 4 years, my blood pressure has not really been raised, and this is why. Some people were not raised by sociopaths, and it shows. Like if my stepdad had the access that Trump had with everything, he would have absolutely done the exact same things. If it was in his power to break it, if it didn't go his way, he would break it. If he could say some wild shit to get somebody to take his side or clap for him, he would do it. All you have to do is just imagine it on a grander scale with an unlimited budget, And, he didn't care about rules. He doesn't care about rules. And it wasn't, he really still doesn't care about rules. Just reality's kind of hit him a little harder now. But seeing it on a grand scale, it's like, well, it's not that hard to imagine. Oh, also, and maybe taking a Western civilization course once in a while. It's really helpful. People don't like to take history classes, and I get that in school. But oh my God, if you take a single a history class that isn't American history, you could see where stuff like this happens in every country and every leadership at some point in their history, and it cycles back around. And it's kind of like the rise and fall of good and evil, but what is good without evil?
Yeah. I think on a future episode of our actual podcast, we're gonna have to talk about. We've talked about a little bit about gerrymandering, but I think it's important to kind topic. Of to look at specifically because we run a course of possibly having more people come into Congress that are like Marjorie Taylor Greene, and there may not be anything we can do about it. And it is all because of gerrymandering, and we really are at a point in time because a lot of redistricting is going to start happening this year, and a lot of redistricting is done on partisan lines. And there's a point in time where Democrats could lose in 2 years the House because of redistricting, and there may not be anything to do. Like we could keep all the districts, and the redistricting could cause us to lose the House. And
Right.
there's nothing to be done necessarily.
It's always something that comes up every 2 years, and yeah, we'll have to do another segment on gerrymandering, like on another day, because I also don't want to I don't want everybody to just like be bored to tears through it, because I mean we've all been through a lot, and especially if you're not used to, if in the last 4 or 5 years, like many of us have gotten more involved than just superficial showing up at the generals and midterms. There's a lot of information, it's like learning how the government works, learning how many seats there are and how that's impacted.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, if you're involved in politics, it's not an every 4 years thing. It's not an every 2 year thing. Honestly, everyone should be in politics, pretty much on a very regular, every day possible basis.
We were all raised to be, at least in my generation and where I'm from, was never discuss politics or religion. And I feel like if more people did that and we encouraged, taking more science classes, we probably wouldn't have these discussions.
Yeah.
But here we are, vaccines cause autism. Like, great. We have Facebook groups that, have Googled and watched some shitty YouTube videos and suddenly know more than somebody who spent 10 years in school studying.
Yeah. So we'll talk more about redistricting and gerrymandering, because there are some things that we can do, but we got to do them now, because there could be a point in time where we're screwed for a decade. So not to be too negative, but there is some things we can do, but we'll talk about that later. But something else coming up today, or it was released yesterday, but the Biden administration released a memorandum advancing human rights of lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and intersex persons around the world. It directs American agencies operating abroad to ensure that the United States diplomacy and foreign assistance promote and protect the human rights of LGBTQI+ persons. And so that's going to help with refugees, asylum seekers. It's going to address human rights abuses afflicted against LGBTQ people across the country. And then these embassies across the world are going to try to be promoting that. And so right now there's around 70 countries, I think, worldwide that have criminalizations against same-sex relations.
You can literally be jailed for suspected homosexual activity in your own house. And it doesn't even have to be true. It can just be suspected. And some countries have tests, I'm putting that in quotes, where they test if you're homosexual. And the details of that are a little hazy, but let's just go with it's not good. And most of us would not fare very well. So that is something that's happened. And in the last 4 years, as anybody probably watching this, and obviously you're part of here at the podcast, we did not have a lot of protections advanced in the last 4 years. In fact, we had a lot of them rolled back. And while nobody declared open season on us directly, I think we all know, if anybody's taken a damn history class, it does not take being declared open season on for things to go to hell in a handbasket.
Well, I mean, you can take evidence of how many we've discussed, many executive orders that were put forward by the Biden administration in these first few weeks here, and then still happening yesterday with this order. But, essentially, these are all reversing a lot of what Trump put in place. And so it's, we're just reversing back to what it was. We're not making improvements. We're just trying to get back to where we were.
We're not even back to status quo yet. The religious exemptions, which are complete nonsense. I mean, separation of church and state. You okay? One of my siblings is extremely right wing, and one of my nieces has like faith-based homeschooling. And let me tell you about not knowing history or any, like, when one of the equivalent, something happened 2 years ago, and my sister goes, well, I don't know a lot about the Confederacy, but I know slavery was bad. And I was like,
yeah.
Okay. Wow, you're 14 years older than me. That's what you've picked up at 48 years old. Wow. And then she was going on about the education system in her state, and which I don't want to like point fingers, but McConnell might be in charge of that state. I don't know. I'm not pointing fingers or anything, but when she was going on about how frustrating the my niece's program is, that so when you do homeschooling, you have a program that you have to follow with the state's plan, and then you can choose your curriculum as long as you
Yeah.
do classes. And I was like, you're like 5 up from the bottom here. I don't think you should be complaining about how hard it is. Like, if you can't remember to put periods in your sentences and where to put a comma, there's some other problems going on when you're almost 18 years old. So I think we should have other conversations involving education. So that's what's happening in education at that level. So if that's what you know at 17, 18, what are you going to be like at 25, 35, and 45? You're not going to be part of the I read a book after high school club. And of course, now it's not the same. We have access to the internet, and, even a Wikipedia page can lead you to some really good sources, or drag out information that maybe you otherwise wouldn't have known. Wikipedia now is not what it was, 10 years ago. It's sourced. You can actually get the sources and check them out yourself if you look.
Yeah, that actually, that comes to a point.
How do I know that? Because my niece, when she wrote a paper for a class I taught her, she plagiarized the shit out of a paper and copied it out of Wikipedia, because I located it myself, located the sources, because she had not even changed the text. So
yeah, that's crazy.
She didn't even change the format and the font. So yeah.
That actually brings, there's a legislature in Arkansas specifically, but there's like 2 or 3 other states currently right now that are trying to, I believe, ban the 1619 project. And basically the 1619 project is kind of like putting history out there the way history actually occurred. Right. And so a lot of these Republicans are very upset because it's talking a lot about slavery, and America founded on slavery, and it talks about our founding fathers in the reality of the situation that they actually were. And a lot of these Republicans do not want that. They want to revise history to fit what
right. Well,
like
the whole heritage and not hate thing that was done by, I believe, the Daughters of the Confederacy. They call themselves the Daughters of the Confederacy, trying to kind of soften history a little bit. And history is always written by the victor, but it's like, we have Hawaii, but a lot of people think that the Hawaiian people were just so thrilled with what America did, but that's not what happened. Like, we deposed an actual queen, and she did abdicate, but it was not necessarily willingly. It was to protect her people. And here we are. It was not pleasant. It was not good. She was imprisoned in her own palace for, I think, 8 or 9 months in a room of the palace. And it's just incredible that it's just not well known. And that is a large part of our history. But
yeah,
here in the States, we have a way of kind of assuming we know better. In like the country, in the way the world works, we're kind of like the baby sibling that is somehow taller and more athletic than some of our other siblings and think we know best, but then we fall and skin our knees and we need everybody's help. And we expect everybody to help us, and because nothing gets attention in the news more than when somebody's in another country. 3 Americans in trouble over here because they did something really stupid, and it makes the news. And it's like, why were you doing that though?
Yeah. I mean, it kind of goes back to like when Watchmen came out on HBO, and a lot of people were like shocked about the whole bombing of Tulsa, because people were like, wait, what happened? Yeah. And no one knew it because you weren't taught it in school, and you had to learn it from a TV show, which is crazy.
One of the things we plan to do for this month, because it is Black History Month, is there are, I don't want to say a list, because it's a couple of lists of massacres that have been inflicted on the Black community and neighborhoods that were just literally not taught in school. They're available to learn about, but you would have to know where and, at least what year it happened. Well, I found a thread, I posted a map of them, so I have it saved. And so that's something we're going to be doing in a future, probably a live, so that anybody can join and share information that they might know, because these are not things we were taught in school unless you had a really aggressive history teacher.
So we have about 15 minutes left today. We're glad everybody had joined us. So those are some of our conversations today. But do you have any plans, Matt? Again, if you're watching, do y'all have any plans? Tell us what you're doing this weekend. What's
I'm
happening?
doing yoga with one of our mutuals. I think he's a mutual with most of us. Timmy Babbles. He teaches yoga, so I will be doing a 30-minute yoga class with him a little later. He does hour sessions, but we have to do a 30-minute because I overheat still on my meds. So after about 30 minutes of activity, I need a 10-minute break, and for a 1-hour class, that's a lot. It's cold out right now. Well, by cold, I mean the high today is 59. But it's cold inside the house, which is why I'm wearing this. But it was 81 yesterday, and I was sweating while we were doing this, and a little from anxiety. Cody, you got any plans?
So I think we are going to be doing some stuff in the yard, kind of continuing to get it set up for the spring. And then I'm going to shoot some videos for my cocktail series.
And I sent you a picture of Chris sent me he texted while we were doing this. He texted me some 19-year-old pictures of him. This is what he looked like when I met him.
I'll have to pull that up.
Yeah, I just texted you a few minutes ago with them.
Yeah, so just kind of like doing stuff like that. I have to
Johnny Apollo says, getting rid of this weird mess that has grown out of my scalp. I'm cutting David's hair probably tonight or tomorrow, and I just cut mine off the other day. Go ahead, Cody.
I feel like we need some video or proof that you've cut his hair before and after.
Do you remember when he had like that side part and like the styling? I did that.
Oh yeah.
I cut it myself.
Look at you, a little hairdresser.
Well, it saved us a lot of money, and we didn't want to go anywhere, and also anxiety.
Yeah, I've been
finasteride for my scalp. So about 2-3 years ago, my hair started falling out in handfuls. It was everywhere, and I've been shedding for a long time, but the doctor pretty much just ignored me. So finasteride takes 6 months. Well, it can take a year to 1.5 years to get the full results because you have to go through all the hair growth cycles. So if you notice in my AVI, I look like I have hair from the front. Well, what was happening was it was shedding out all through the back and the sides, and it was really stressful because I didn't know why it was happening because my DNA test, my health test, and my blood work are all super normal, and I have no patterns, no history of baldness in my family, so it was really stressful. So when you start finasteride, it makes you shed for the first few weeks, and then it starts. Well, shedding so much, I was finding it everywhere. I finally gave up, and I shaved it down to a one morning when I got up, and so now we're seeing it grow back, and you grow like baby hairs in places where my hairline used to be down here. So I've got like random baby hair sticking out like there if you're up close. It's funny.
Yeah, I started doing, well, I've been doing my hair for quite some time, like the coloring. And then Gabe, who is staying with us, he cuts my hair, or if he's not here, Justin will cut my hair. So yeah, I've been doing it for quite a while. So yes, you do save money. And since I had been doing it, it was perfect when the pandemic began because I was like, well, everybody else has long hair, but I'm continuing my trend of just doing my own hair.
Do you know what I don't know how to do though? I don't know how to like properly do like a good fade. I can do like a 3 and a 5 or like 3-4. I can do like kind of like a 3-4-5 or 2-3-4, but like kind of skin 0-1-2. I cannot get it right. I mean, obviously I'm not a pro, and I don't want to know how to cut hair per se. I just need to know how to cut my hair and David's hair. And
yeah, I cut Gabe's hair, and he like goes through like, okay, use this 3 to I don't know what you call
clippers,
them, the clippers, the guards. And then he's like, okay, cut up to this point, do this. I'm like, oh my God. And then he's like, well, if it doesn't turn out, it's fine. It's just going to grow back. But I'm like, oh, it's like, wait, what?
Didn't you cut Justin's hair once and it didn't go so well?
Oh my God. No, it didn't go well because I forgot to put the guard back on. I was cleaning it because it got stuck. So I took off the guard and cleaned it and didn't put the guard back on and went and then I stopped quickly, but it was too late.
How much did you take off before
you realized? Just a small chunk. But
I cut
it was not
my mom's
good.
hair off when I was 8. My sister had braided her hair, like put a bunch of braids, like braided down her hair. My mom used to have really long hair back in the day, and a rubber band got stuck like back here, like way up her hair. So my mom had really long hair, and I got most of it out. I was only 8, okay, and I
Yeah.
was trying to like carefully pull it out. So my mom has she has a scar from here to here. It's like a horseshoe shape from a brain injury from an aneurysm. So she can't get her arm. Her arm, it affects the side of her brain, like where she can't really use her arms very well. Like she can't do both arms like this. So I would help her, or my dad would help her with stuff like that. So, and I'm like, okay, well, it's stuck. And I'm thinking like, oh, I should just cut off, just the rubber band. So logically, snipping the rubber band should have not been a big deal. At most, you're going to snip a hair or two, right? No, my little dumbass went, I cut like the whole braid. So it was like this much.
Have you seen?
And I didn't say anything. I did not tell my mom I did that. And I just like threw the rubber band and was like, okay, Mom, it's all fixed. Of course, she shakes her head. She didn't think anything of it. And the next day she went to work and came home, and I got in a lot of trouble because apparently at work, when her hair was tied up, one of her colleagues was like, did you cut your hair? And she's, no, wait a minute. So I got a talking to about what to do and what not to do.
Did you see early on in the pandemic people posting like on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, whatever, that they were trying to cut their hair or their bangs or something, and they would like pull it together like in a rubber band or ponytail or whatever, and then they would just cut straight, but it doesn't work because you're pulling stuff from the side, so it's longer, and this is going to be shorter, and then it was like this weird shape.
Yeah, I was like, the compilations of the fails were fantastic, especially when they put it to cheerful music. It made it even better. Because I mean, we're all stressed about something, and the compilations of delicious banana breads, bad bangs, and awkward haircuts.
Oh my God, so many banana breads.
Yeah. When I posted on my Snapchat, tonight we bake, at dawn we ride. And, because it was the time during when all it was like around May, June, when things were really like starting to ramp up. Because my birthday was the day of George Floyd's murder. So I hadn't really been watching the news early on in the day, other than like responding to birthday messages. And Dave and I were just hanging out playing video games because it's a pandemic and we're stuck at home. But my birthday's also on a holiday weekend, so I typically avoid everything. And it wasn't until later that night when the news started coming out, and I went, oh shit, here we are. And then, it erupted. And so I was like, oh, well, okay. So yeah, I remember all the compilation videos of banana breads, people baking. And then some, I don't think it was here. It might have been in the UK, but some lady posted some giant rant about how we need to stop baking and buying flour because we're taking away from other people, and we need to not bake so much. I'm like,
okay,
like that's what you want to pick on. There's a lot of things wrong between the countries right now. A lot of things to pick on.
Like,
leave my apple turnovers out of this, you jerk.
Doesn't even make any sense,
right?
So here's the photo that you sent me, Matt.
Oh, baby Chris. He's so cute. I actually remember those sunglasses. Chris was always so stylish. Like
the bottom ones or the top ones?
The top ones were actually his. I think the bottom ones he's just
in a store, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Chris was always so stylish and cute, and I have consummate jeans and a hoodie. So yeah, style was never really my thing. I'm not really good at it. But Chris, I did notice the shell necklace because I have one too, sitting still in my. Yeah, you see it? Yeah. Mine's still. I had an all white one, the shell necklace from I think American Eagle, and I think it's still sitting. It's in Oh, you know what? I think it's in this room. It might be in this. Oh no, it's in David's office. He's doing our taxes right now. David and I switched offices shortly after the pandemic started, because he got laid off, and he always liked my office better, and I liked his office better. So, yeah, I still have my shell necklace and some of my 2006, 2007 memories.
Well, this has been a good conversation today. Thank you for the people who joined us.
Chris, that's amazing. He says he still has it. I love it.
Oh, that's fun. I think I still have mine.
Until we switched offices. Now I'm going to have to get it for next time. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We're going to do this Probably pretty regularly because, all of us are home. So.
And again, you can always join if you want to join and talk.
Right.
Just let us know.
You can absolutely join the conversation. You don't have to be you don't have to be on video if you don't want to be. You can be, or you can just turn off your video and just be on that Johnny, that is not me. That is my friend. That is Chris Pettis, who's joined us on this. Who's also on Twitter. If you follow him, he's adorable and amazing. But yeah, Chris Pettis and I really looked like little Helix models running around back in the day because we were all super twinks. And it's Orlando. I mean, it's you walk into a Starbucks and hit 10 of us. It is still live. Somebody just logged in and asked if it was still live. Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah.
But yes, I think that is.
Oh wow, the timing of that just lined right up. That's amazing.
But yeah, thank everybody for joining us. I guess we still have like 4 minutes, but we want to come on and do this like every once in a while, or like as Matt was saying, more often actually. But we'll come on for like 30 minutes, an hour, whatever we have available, and just chat it up.
Oh, Bobby just joined us, or Lil Churro PDX, I believe, if we know him. This is what's going to end up happening, Cody. We're going to end up having to do more marathon runs because people are going to float in and out as, they're available to and from work. What was that 24-hour thing you wanted to do?
Oh my God. Yeah. There are podcasts who do 24-hour long.
Like once a year or something like that. It's not, they doesn't run full time.
No. It's just a special event, and then different people come on and chat, and we just have a handful of people who join us, and we just chat about whatever is happening, and who knows, because it's 24 hours, so the topics will just ramble on and on forever and ever. But yeah, I think we've had the most people we've had so far. I mean, this is only day 2, but we have 5 followers, and this is great. And this is a supplement to our podcast. We're still The podcast is still going. The podcast 2 episodes a week. Tuesday is Matt and David. Ken. Yes, thanks, Ken. We're glad that you joined us. Again, we'll do this more often so we can help you get through your work days and your work weeks. But Tuesday, Matt and David's episode comes out. I'm building this up a lot, but Matt and David.
I'm dying to hear this.
I feel like I'm not going to let Matt hear this until it is released on Tuesday. But that's coming out on Tuesday, so you can check that out. Again, 2 episodes a week. And then we'll try to get on a schedule for this so you know when you need to tune in.
Well, and Bobby, so the other day, Cody interviewed David with me present and just kind of talked to both of us. And it was the first time David's ever done anything on camera with us. Let me rephrase that. It's the first time that he's joined the podcast.
It was fine. I think everybody will join it or enjoy it.
Oops. Sorry, Cody. Is that going to be part of the clip?
Who knows?
David wants to hear that. So Cody's going to create a compilation of all the times I'm inappropriate on and off camera, and then just put it together and post it. And David is dying to hear that. Sorry, everyone. Totally failed there. Yeah. Because this is also on YouTube Live too. So you can watch there if you just want to watch. And apparently the video quality is really good there. I don't know if it is. I'm assuming it's good because I watched the YouTube one last night after we.
Yeah. Apparently the YouTube stream is better than Twitter, Periscope. And if you go to YouTube, you can subscribe, hit the little bell, and you can be notified when we go live. So you get a notification. Right. So no matter what time, if Matt wants to do it at 1 a.m, you'll get a notification if you're up to do it. But
you, sir.
YouTube is a really good way. Also because the Twitter live is going away quickly. It goes away in
March. So we'll have to do something different for Twitter.
So thank everybody for joining us. I hope you all have a great weekend.
Thank you, everyone.
See you next week, or maybe this weekend.
Probably this weekend.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.